Welcome back, everybody, to the OPT Network. I say this so much, but you know how I love sharing stories. And I truly, truly believe that every story gives life and hope to the next story, especially when we're talking about entrepreneurialism and those women who step into their dreams and their passion. And that's what we're talking about this morning. Our guest joins us all the way from Richmond, California. Her name is Courtney Oliver. She is the granddaughter of Hank and Jean Williams of Williams Tax and Financial Consulting, our friends. And we're just exploring her story and her journey. So we welcome Courtney Oliver to the OPT Network for the very first time. Courtney, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
So your journey has taken, even though your life is you're still very young, taken a lot of twists and turns.
Yes, ma'am.
And so out of high school, you thought you wanted to be a professional basketball player.
Oh, yeah. Couldn't tell me anything different. I was going to be in the WNBA. I was actually going to be the first woman in the NBA. That's how confident I was in myself. But basketball was definitely the journey that I picked straight out of high school. I played all the way through college. But like you said, twists and turns in life. I lost the love for the game, a lot of politics and things getting in the way of just playing. So I stopped playing after 2 years of college and just really tried to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Digging back into what made me happy, what was I doing before basketball, and it was always art.
It was art.
Always arts, different entertainment arts. I drew, I danced, I could make music, I act. So it was always the performing arts that made me feel the most comfortable.
So after you leave basketball, and a lot of parents go through this with kids that say, I want to quit, especially after the goals are so big.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a time of uncertainty and maybe a little bit of depression?
Oh, absolutely. The decision to quit basketball was not welcomed by my family at all.
Because this was your dream, and it became everybody else's dream.
Absolutely. And ticket.
And ticket,
yes. So when I decided to make that decision, it wasn't welcomed by anybody, honestly. And it did bring on a lot of depression for me because I felt like I was making the wrong decision. But I had to have confidence in myself that the decision was for me and it wasn't for my family. It's not my family's life. It's not my dad or my mom's life. Even though they've given me so much to get to this point, I have to live for myself.
Right.
So even me having that confidence in myself, it made them have the confidence in me as well. They had to accept it. They still love me, So we just moved on that way. But they also knew and have experienced the whole time I played basketball, me acting and singing and dancing. So it wasn't something foreign. It wasn't just out of the blue. It was just something different. Yeah.
And so when do you come out of that dark place, out of that grieving of this thing that you thought you would do and moving into that deep passion?
Music. While I was still in college, I actually met someone that had a studio. And he played on the basketball team, on the boys' basketball team. I was on the girls' basketball team, and he had a studio at his house. And this was my first time being in a studio, being around music where I'm sharing my own. I wrote songs, I wrote poems, but I never shared them with anybody. Didn't think they were worth putting on wax. The first time I got into the studio and I was able to express myself, it was a new world. It was like I was coming into something that I didn't even know I was supposed to be doing. And at that moment, we created my name. At that moment, I said I was going to be a rapper. At that moment, I indulged into the arts. And that was in 2009. So me continuing to go to his studio, not having practices to go to, not having basketball, not having gym. What am I going to do? What am I doing with my time? Going to the studio and kind of replacing that with that. Really, it really helped me bring me out that depression. It made me happy. And when it continued to make me happy, and then I showed my music to others and I saw how it made them feel, I thought I was onto something.
And so did you know that you had those words in you?
I did. I've been writing, I think, since I was in 6th grade. Poems, mostly. I started with poetry. And
how did you find that love so early?
A cousin of mine was trying to be a rapper. I think you know how that is, and I looked up to him so much. Jamon was just a pillar in my family to me as an older cousin, and I wanted to be like him. And so he was the only person I showed my poetry to, only person I said my poems to, and he was like, you know, cuz if you sped that up a little bit and put it next to a beat, that would be a tight song. And that's the first, I never thought about it. What, a song? Nah, I'll stick to poetry. But that always stayed in my head. And, you know, I would put on instrumentals and stuff and kind of see things, but basketball was, it was the forefront. So this was just hobbies. But once I, like I said, got to college and I decided that was no more, and I got in the studio, it reminded me back to what my cousin said, cuz this is you. Put that on wax. And the rest is history, honestly.
So then did you start did the writing and the words start to flow?
Absolutely. It's hard to explain where it really came from. I've always been articulate. Even young, I've always been able to express myself in a manner where adults could understand. So maybe it was really just a blessing. Yeah. Again, my grandparents are the same way. My mom was the same way. So I think I just took what we all had and put it into an art form.
And so after you leave basketball and you step into this unknown place, but you feel at home here.
Yeah.
How do you then decide to create a brand for yourself?
I had gotten actually into a relationship with someone that had a lot more confidence in me than I did. At that time, you know, I just thought it was something that was making me feel good. Music was just something that I was doing to, of course, bring myself out of the depression, but I didn't really take it too seriously until they told me I should.
Sometimes it takes others to look at you and say, you know what, you might have something.
And it was kind of like, it was like this, maybe the second or third person that had said it. So now I'm hearing it. Now I'm continuing to hear, this is something that you really, really have, Courtney. Really study it. And so when I started studying music, this is when Drake kind of came out for 2009, 2007. I really started studying music, going back and studying rappers and studying lyricists and studying how to write songs. I just got indulged in the culture. And I mean, at one point, I printed out all of Drake's music, every lyric that he had up until that point, and studied it. Just studied it.
And what did you find? What did the studies, what did they teach you?
It taught me cadence. It taught me how to express myself in other forms and ways, metaphors, similes. I mean, you know, really going back to school and really going back
English.
Really going back to English and not knowing that was gonna actually be in my life.
You're gonna really need
that, yeah. So now I'm playing with different words. I'm again studying the different ways that other rappers express themselves and the cadence that they're having, and I'm just trying to find my own way. And it really just became something of second nature for me. I bought a computer. I had a PlayStation that had this is how deep it got. I had a PlayStation and I had a singing a game that actually came with microphones. I took the microphones, plugged the USB into my computer, and made my first song on my computer with the microphone from my PlayStation. This is how deep it got. And I mean, to this day, I think it's the tightest song that I've ever written.
Wow.
And it's really just the story behind it, just believing in myself enough to I don't have a microphone, I don't have a studio, I don't have this, I don't have that, but I'm still gonna find a way.
I love it.
And that was that.
Let's get a break here, but when we come back, we'll have more of our conversation with Courtney. Stay on point. We're back right after this. Welcome back, everybody, to the OPT Network. This morning, we're talking about life's journeys and becoming. Courtney Oliver is our guest. She joins us all the way from Richmond, California, and she's really a presence on TikTok with more than 70,000 followers. And we're talking about building the brand and the process. And so before we went to break, Courtney, we were talking about, you know, just really finding your passion and loving it. So you know that you have this gift to sing and to rap and to make music. When then do you find TikTok and start to build it?
So music started seriously in 2009. So over a decade, I have been performing, creating, putting out music, touring. I've hit a lot of milestones with music. But as music has progressed over the time, I found myself not liking where it was headed. A lot of the music, especially in my generation right now, that's being put out and that has been put out within the last maybe 5 years has just really changed. It's not as positive. It's not, we really don't have any love songs anymore. We don't have any family songs, uplifting songs, songs about friends. We really don't have that anymore. It's just a lot of depression, drug life, trap life, and that's not where I come from. So I found myself over the years as I'm going on these tours and as I'm meeting all these people and I'm making songs and music with people that my message and where I'm coming from and what I'm saying is not necessarily relatable to the people that I'm talking to.
And so how do you be who you want to be versus who, and I think a lot of artists get caught up in this.
Yeah.
Be your own life's experiences and the things that you want to rap about, sing about, perform about versus what societal norms are. How do you balance that?
It's very hard. I think as an artist, you have to have the confidence in yourself before you're indulged into that life. You have to know who you are before you become the rapper. Because if you don't know who you are and all of it is just what you're getting from this experience, then you're gonna get caught up in everything that it has to offer. If you know who you are and what you're trying to say, it won't be influenced by anyone else. And I think a lot of rappers, especially now, they don't know what they want to say. They don't really have a story of their own. They're just piggybacking off of the music that's out. And now we just have this sea of the same type of music, the same cadence, the same beats, the same type of rap. And for me, sticking to my roots and rapping about things that I experienced, I just noticed that my record sales started to kind of go down. I wasn't being asked to go on tours as much. Things were just changing. As music was changing, things were changing. And so I kept my audience of fans. I still make music for myself and for the people that listen, but my whole goal was to touch people as much as I can, touch as many lives as I can with any type of art that I put out. When I felt like my music wasn't touching as many people anymore, I started to feel lost again. I started to feel like perhaps I wasn't being heard, and I wanted to find another way to connect. So I, again, found myself in the same place that I was with basketball and stopping and saying, okay, Courtney, what is it that you're actually trying to do? What goal do you have? And my whole goal is positive energy and love. So when TikTok came out, my daughter actually is the one who showed me.
Your daughter showed you?
Yes, of course, because she keeps me up on everything, right?
How old is she?
14.
Okay,
yeah,
of course.
Right, so she's the one who showed me, and I didn't really understand how it could help me. All I saw was a bunch of dance videos. It wasn't really something that I was interested in. But once I started seeing people using it for acting videos, I told myself, wow, this is very interesting, and this could be a way that I can introduce my fan base into me actually being an actress, which is something that I've done way before music. I was a little afraid stepping into that zone because I was afraid that as an artist, a music artist, I wasn't gonna be accepted. Oh, she's acting now. Oh, she's doing this, she's doing that. She's not staying focused. But when God gives you a bunch of different talents that you can influence the world positively on, it's okay for you to use all of them to do so. And that's kind of like the mind frame that I had to get to. God blessed me with with many things that I can share. He didn't, this isn't a curse or anything like that. And it's okay for me to share. It's okay for me to indulge. And it's okay for me to be who I am in different areas of my life to bring positivity. So I started studying TikTok, just like I started studying music. And before you know it, I started my TikTok of August last year.
For old school people like myself, tell us what TikTok is.
So it's a platform where you can create. You can create dance videos. You can create skits, comedy videos. You can create actually any type of genre of video on TikTok. They have different sounds and music that you can already use. So a lot of people lip sync the acting. So you're pretty much like, let's say you use a scene from Friday, a famous movie. Everyone knows that movie, but now as an actor, you're putting yourself inside the movie, using the lines and kind of bringing it to life your own way. So it allows people to be really creative. There's no limit of age on TikTok, which I think is amazing because it shows people that, you never have to give up on anything. There's people in their 80s to 70s on TikTok and actually creating brands for themselves at this point in their life. And then there's people like me or younger who are using the platform to create and connect with different brands and sponsorships so that they can actually be able to live off of the stuff that they create on TikTok. So they have a creator fund. TikTok pays their creators for views,
for the
likes,
content.
and for the content that they put up, because the whole thing is keeping people on their app as much as possible. So if you're helping with that, they're going to pay you. And then you can also get brand sponsorships. So it kind of opens up a lot of opportunity than other social media apps have offered, because a lot of the other apps are really just to stay connected. Facebook, Instagram, it's really to stay connected. But for TikTok, it's a brand that you can actually build and continue to catapult on. And I've seen a lot of people create TikToks and now are on TV, using, have been noticed by Tyler Perry or different production companies because they stay consistent.
Wow. Let's take a break here, but when we come back, let's talk about more than 70,000 followers on TikTok and what Courtney sees coming next. Stay on point. We're back right after this. Welcome back, everybody, to the OPT Network. This morning, we're talking about living your dreams. And there's so many ways to do that. And this is just one way. And our guest this morning is Courtney Oliver. She's a social media influencer and an entertainment artist. And before we went to break, we were talking about TikTok. I think we kind of have an idea, because I had to look it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm not on TikTok. I'm not a follower, but there's certainly many ways to build your brand. And so when you dive into it, do you think that you're going to build anywhere from 70 to 100,000 followers? Is that the goal? Or
when I first started it, I don't know if I had a goal, honestly, because I didn't think, I was just playing around with the app. I was just really trying to get to know and understand how it could help me. I didn't want to just be on another app just to be on it,
right,
just to be a part of it. I wanted it to be, I missed the wave for Vine. I missed the wave for Instagram. People literally have been able to change their lives from these apps. I didn't want to miss the wave for TikTok.
So you wanted to be intentional?
Yes, absolutely.
And so what was the intention?
The intention was to show my characters that I have created and to put out, like I said, as much positive energy and laughter as I could on my page. When you come to my page, you're gonna stay for a while and you're gonna laugh and feel better. And that's my whole goal. A lot of people, especially during the pandemic, are at home struggling, just needing something to make them feel better. And I really wanted to be the light in a lot of people's lives. So no, I didn't think that I was gonna build my brand this big and this influential this fast, but I also, in the back of my mind, knew that I could do it if I really put my mind to it.
Tell us about your characters, and once you set the intention, what you wanted that to look and feel like to people that would come to your page.
So I have two main characters that I've introduced, which is Sister Gladys, which is a combination of my great-grandmother and my grandmother, honestly, and Uncle Red, which is pretty much a combination of my uncles, and my uncles, all of them together make Uncle Red. And for me, family is everything. I'm very family orientated. And the family movies like The Clumps and the movies where they're really, really funny, but they show the family dynamic is really what I wanted to do with my page. So when you come to my page, you'll find videos of Sister Gladys, video of Uncle Red, and they're relatable. They could be your grandma or your uncle. And those are the types of things that I really wanted to share, was relatable comedy with people. Bringing things to life that are not necessarily funny, but just relatable. And because everyone experienced it, it's funny.
So when you thought about your grandmothers, what made you build a character around them?
That's a great question. I impersonate them all the time, and to them. I'm always telling them, how funny they are, and trying to show them exactly why I'm laughing. And I
show them what they look like.
Show them what they look like. And I think over the years, I've mastered it. It's stuck with me. I mean, even like the granny face, I have it down pat. It's crazy. But I look up to my grandparents. I look up to my grandmother, and my great-grandmother, she was the pillar of our entire family. And I think it was more so of a respect thing. I want to be like them. I want to have the influence that they have. And, I just created my own funny version of them.
Really?
Yeah.
What were their thoughts?
They can't believe, Grandma doesn't believe it's her. She won't believe that she has anything to do with Sister Gladys. But I show her all the time, girl, that's you. Look what she's doing. That's you. And every time I swear every time I'm talking to her, I'm studying her at some point because, Grandma, I'm going to use that. That is hilarious. You don't even know how funny
material.
You are. That's material. And same thing with my uncles. I like to show versatility on my TikTok as a lesbian and someone in the LGBT community that is tomboy. I do feel like we're put into a box that we're not able to be as influential or dynamic as other types of artists because we dress a certain way or we look a certain way. And I wanted to break that entire mold. I'm a woman, I'm an actress, and I just so happen to be a lesbian. That has nothing to do with my brand or who I am as a person. So I also like to dress up. Sister Gladys has her entire outfits. Uncle Red has a mustache. And I really indulge into my characters and become that person. And I want to break the mold of any stereotypes that, certain people can't do certain things.
Has that been hard? And especially as a Black woman coming from a matriarchal Black family and coming out as lesbian, how does all of that play into where you are?
I've been blessed to have a family that, for the most part, accepted everything about me. And at some point, even if it was difficult, accepted everything that I had to offer and made me feel comfortable with myself. So starting with my family and feeling comfortable with them, I've always felt comfortable in any other setting. And I don't feel like my lifestyle has any influence on where I am now. And I tried not to have people look at me just as a lesbian artist. Again, I'm a Black woman, an artist that just so happens to have that lifestyle. And I don't think it affects negatively anything that I have going on when it comes to connecting with people, only because I don't let it affect me. I don't put myself in a box. I don't look at myself as a lesbian anything. I look at myself as Courtney Oliver, who is a Black woman, an artist, an entertainer, who just happens to be a lesbian. And I think with me putting myself in that light and not boxing myself in, it gives others the intention to not do the same thing. And that's all I want to do. I just want to be looked at as just like everyone else, just as equal as everyone else.
Do you think that so far is happening? I mean, you've got 70,000+ followers. I mean, so something.
Yeah, I think I'm doing a good job at not boxing myself in. And I think I'm doing a good job with my characters as being as relatable as possible in all aspects of life. And I'm very proud of that.
Are you an advocate? Are you speaking to those people that, because obviously, you know, you have a daughter, so there was a time where maybe you did not identify as lesbian. And so how do you help people sort of that are on that journey?
Great question. Everyone's journey is different. Again, I think it has a lot to do with self. A lot of the times when you're coming into yourself, it's a very difficult journey because you have a lot of doubt. And it's at that point in your life that you really have to hone in on the confidence before you step out into the world. I believe a lot of people step out into the world without that confidence, and then they're shaken by the different things that they go through or the people that they meet. But having that confidence in yourself already, it really instills a ground that you can stand on that no one can shake. And I don't know, I just feel like for me, my journey, I just try not to have my journey be just in the LGBT community. I just want to be looked at as kind of like a Queen Latifah, more so of an artist that just so happens to be. I, you know, for anyone that is struggling with sexuality or anything like that, I just really think it starts with yourself, having a good relationship with God, having a good relationship with yourself, and having the confidence in yourself to know that who you are is enough, who you are will be accepted. And, you know, for me, I stand my ground, and even though my music might not have reached millions of people, I am a pillar in the community of being yourself in music. You know, I never made music for anyone but myself. And I think as we're seeing more artists come out, that's the grounds for it. LGBT artists, just be yourself. Straight artists, just be yourself. Artists, just be yourself, and let us just grow together. And that's all I'm trying to push for.
Sure. And so 70,000+ followers. When did you start to say, wow?
I think at 15K. At 15K.
Were you like constantly monitoring it, or did it just like one day you look up and wow? Okay.
No, I everything is a business for me. So I have a business strategy. I'm always monitoring it. I am a one-man team right now, so I do have to do everything by myself. So I again studied TikTok, watched YouTube videos about best times to post, you know, learning your analytics, how to read them, your demographics. I learned all of these things so that as I'm posting, it's with intention. As I'm creating, it's with intention. I'm not just using any sound because it's popular. I'm using a popular sound that also has to do with my characters, that also has to do with my page. So everything was intentional. And at 15K, I kind of looked up and said, whoa, whatever I'm doing is working right now. And I'll never forget that video, the 15K video where I was thanking my fans and everybody on TikTok for giving me the 15K. I decided to use all of my characters in that video to say thank you. So
wow,
I started with myself, and then I kind of made it seem like everyone was in the background. And so then Sister Gladys came, and then Uncle Red came, and then my cousin Carmen came, which is all just me. And that video got, I think, maybe 800,000 views.
Wow.
And that was when I knew my characters was exactly what I needed to do. They were coming to see my family, the family that I've created. They want to be a part of it. And I think that's dope.
And so, you know, earlier you talked about the way that the genre of music has changed, and even entertainment, do you think that there was sort of maybe a yearning for people to want family?
Absolutely.
Is that why you think maybe people gravitated
connection? Absolutely. And especially during the pandemic. I think all of us lost connection with people during the pandemic, even our family. We couldn't see our family members. It was the hardest things that we've been through, not being able to see your grandparents or your mom or your dad just for the sake of keeping people safe. So to build a family or to be a part of a family that is now in the palm of your hand, that I miss my grandmother so much. Let me go watch this video that reminds me so much of her. Those are the type of comments and the type of love that really sticks with me. Oh my gosh, this reminds me of my grandmother. She's been passed on. This really made me feel good. Oh my gosh, my mom has been gone for a while, and she says that, and I've watched this video a million times. Those are the comments that I live for. The things that are bringing us together for family. And so that's why I tell people, come be a part of my family on TikTok.
Wow. So speaking of family, your mom has gone home to be with the Lord. What would she be saying to you right now?
I'm proud of you, baby. I'm proud of you. Which is the biggest thing that I need to hear from her right now. Yeah.
And she'd be rooting you on.
Oh yeah. She'd probably be my manager right now.
She'd be your manager?
Yeah.
And so the influence is coming. The page has grown and is just on the trajectory to continue to grow. What are your hopes for what will be next?
I want to be in movies. I want to act. I want to continue music at the next level. I want to be catapulted to a place where everything that I'm trying to do is now extended to more people. My positive energy, the frequency that I try and live my life on, the love, the laughter. I just wanted to reach more people. I wanted to reach as many people as possible. I want to touch as many people as possible in a positive way. I think a lot of, there's just a mix of negative and positive energy going on in the world right now. And if we can just have one more positive influence, it would help.
Absolutely. And so your daughter, 14, who introduces you to TikTok, what does she now think about mom becoming a TikTok influencer?
She can't believe it, honestly. I mean, I think at the point I got on TikTok, she had maybe 1,000 followers already. She would always tell, "Oh, mom, it's gonna take you so long to get to 1,000," and everything like that. And at some point when I surpassed that, now she's just kind of looking at my page, and she'll come in the room while I'm doing my acting and kind of just watch me do my characters. And it's indulgent for her. She tried to be a part of it. Can I hold the camera? So it's actually like a bonding thing that we are able to do. And I think, she's watching as much, even if she doesn't really say too much, whatever, she's watching it and she's proud of me, I could tell.
Absolutely. And so with everything that you have done with your music and with TikTok, when you sit back now and you look at, the journey, what do you start to think about going into really sort of those next levels?
I'm just getting started.
Just getting started?
I'm just getting started, yeah. I've put in a lot of groundwork and a lot of sweat, tears for what is happening for me right now to actually happen. And I'm proud of myself, but I know I'm just getting started.
And so monetizing these social mediums, I think that's what everybody is really trying to figure out, how you monetize it.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't want to work for yourself? Monetize your brand. And there are many ways to do that. I do believe TikTok right now is one of the fastest ways to grow, as well as to be able to monetize and get brands' attentions. Right now, a lot of people, if not everyone in the world, is watching movies, TV, everything from their handheld device. Commercials and things on TV, they're just a kind of a thing of the past now. So brands are looking for influencers that have a lot of people with eyes on them to promote what they have. And you can make a lot of money. You can take care of your family. You can become an influencer on a lot of different levels just by building your brand and continuing to build your fan base, because people will come knocking. They will come knocking.
Absolutely. Before we've got to let you go, Courtney, tell people how they can connect with you on TikTok.
Absolutely. My TikTok is Everything Fresh CEO. I do spell fresh with a PH because I'm different. So it's Everything PHRESH CEO. You can find me right now, follow me, I'll follow back, and let's build. Come be a part of my family.
I love it. Courtney Oliver, she is a social media influencer and entertainment artist. Stay on point. We're back after this.